Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. So today's video, as you can see from the title, is going to be a kitchen organisation, and it's something I've wanted to do for a really long time. It's obviously part of the big ultimate spring clear out that I've been doing, which I'll leave the playlist down below if you wanted to check it out, because I've already cleared out three of my wardrobes. I've cleared out my wardrobe across 3 videos because there's various parts of it in my house, including my dressing room, and I've also cleared out my bathrooms, which is in a vlog previously, so I'll leave all of that down below if you want to check it out. But the next room I'm going to be tackling is the kitchen, and then I've also still got my cleaning cupboard, my Monica cupboard. If you watch Friends, you'll know the Monica cupboard is like where everything gets dumped. And I've also got my living room to sort a little bit, which is not going to be that bad, but there's a lot of stuff hidden under the sofa and things. So there's going to be a lot of bits and pieces to this spring series, but hopefully you will stick with me and you'll love it. So today's video, like I said, is going to be the kitchen organisation. So when I moved in here, I actually did a big organisation video, which I'll leave down below as well. But as I've lived here for a bit longer, I've realised the need for more storage solutions, better ways of coping with things, because I think when I moved in it kind of got thrown in cupboards. Then I did an organisation to put things where they needed to be, but now I've been here a bit longer, I've been here for 6 months now, there's other things that I've realised could work better as solutions. So I've bought a couple of bits and I'm basically going to pull everything out of every cupboard, organise it to best of my ability, and just see what I can try and do that's going to make this a bit more manageable and everything's a lot easier to work out and see, etc. So the things that I've currently bought are from Amazon. So first up, we have 6 of these little white baskets, which I'm going to be using. They keep getting really stuck together. I'm going to be using for putting in the cupboards. So for example, these little mini cupboards, this one here, I'm going to be using it to put my tea and coffee and stuff in, just so that when I go into the cupboard, I'm not fighting through items. I can just kind of pull the tray out and it's all ready to go. And then I actually also got this, which is a pack of 10 jars, and these are the wooden top ones just because I thought they were really cool. So they range in sizes between this being the smallest and this one being the biggest. So there's a multitude of sizes, and what I'm going to do is kind of add them into my cupboard that is full of it's got really random things in. So there's my flour, my sugar, my salt, there's also lentils, pasta, etc. in there, and that's going to kind of be added to give me more jars, and then I'm going to label them all and stuff as we go. It's going to take me a while, but I'm really excited to get it done because these have been sat in the corner of my kitchen for a while, and I know my cupboards are just bursting at the seams at the moment, and I just want to get everything out, organised, sorted, and then we can put it back in and make it look a lot nicer. Okay, first things first, I'm going to be tackling the little cupboard up here, which is where my tea, coffee and baking bits are. So we're going to pull everything out, we're going to try and organise it, make it a lot neater, tidier, and just easier to manage, which you'll see why in a minute, because it is such a mess. It's just, there's chaos going on in that cupboard. Yeah, you'll see. I'm also going to quickly apologise. I've got really dodgy tan on me at the moment, and my hair is in a hair mask, because I thought, tackle everything at once, put a hair mask in, I can scrub my body when I get in the shower and wash this off, and my kitchen is organised at the same time. So there's a lot of things happening, but let's crack on. So here is the tea coffee cupboard. It's quite an experience, as you can see. So the bottom shelf is tea, coffee, hot chocolate. The middle one is kind of an overflow of tea and hot chocolate with some other bits and pieces thrown in. And then up the top, we've got even more hot chocolate and tea and coffee pods, etc. So we're going to pull all of it out and start from the beginning and get everything back in again. So these are my little baking bits. So I've kind of put everything in the jars so far, and what I'm going to do is just stack them all in here. So this is all of the bits I need when I do baking. So I've got my flour, my flax seeds, my coconut sugar, etc. And I'm just going to kind of leave all of that in here. And then things like this, which are just bicarb of soda, I'm just going to put in like this, because there's no point in me popping those into a jar when they can just be like that. Same with like random things like maple syrup. I'm just going to leave them in these because there's no point decanting them when they don't need it, and it just means everything's a little bit tidier and more organised. And then my flour, I've got one in here, and then I've got a really big one in that one, which is self-raising, just normal flour. Sugar and stuff is all elsewhere. So this is like the main bits. Sugar stays with coffee, flour stays in the main like cupboard with cocoa and stuff. I've got flour all over me as well, whoopsie. Cupboard number 1 is sorted. So we've got the 3 jars I pull out the most. So my tea, my coffee and my sugar are there. And then this is all like excess teas and hot chocolate and stuff. And that's a regular coffee for when people come over, because I drink decaf and I know people drink regular, so I've got that too. This is my baking shelf. So this is all the kind of miscellaneous baking bits like sugar. We've got some like chocolate writing icing. There's some maple syrup and all that kind of stuff in here. And then these are the jars of bits that I grab a lot. And then up the top, this is basically my excess tea bags, my little sachets of oat milk lattes. There's also some flavour drops in there, my Barocca and like all my medical bits, so like paracetamol and stuff. Then we've got my coffee here, which is like the Starbucks blonde roast pods, which I love. I don't drink normal coffee anymore though, so I don't really use these. These are more for guests or my boyfriend. There's another hot chocolate there and some more of the sachets, and then we've got my little cafetiere for if I ever have coffee like that. So that's all done, which is really good. I'm so glad that cupboard's done because that's been stressing me out the most. And I actually did sort out the other day, which I'll show you now, this cupboard down here, which is one that really needed doing, and I've kind of just sorted it a bit. So this is my alcohol shelf. So we've got all my wine and stuff on here. These are my little trip drinks that are the CBD ones, which I really like. I've got some sparkle that you add to Prosecco or champagne. I've got 2 little mini wines here, and then I've got like gin and stuff stacked here with 1 gin glass and some tonics. And then on the bottom is basically spare glasses at the back. Then you've got proteins here, like pre-workouts, and vitamins and stuff here, which do need organising a bit better, but I'm not really going to tackle that cupboard today because I think it's just going to be a whole other situation. And then what I've actually done is started a little stack here, not this water bottle, we'll ignore that, but I've started a little stack here of things that can go to a food bank. So they're things that are completely in date that I've just never opened. So for example, when I moved in, my management of the building left me a tea and a coffee that I've just not opened, and then this came with Mindful Chef this week, which is just some more tea bags. So I thought, rather than using them all up myself, I'll just donate them to a food bank, and then someone else can use them who actually needs food and stuff at the moment, because why not? So next cupboard we're going to tackle is going to be, I don't know whether to do this cupboard, which is like the jar cupboard where everything is, so it's like my lentils, pasta, etc. But I've also got some down here, so I'm thinking this might be where it's good to tackle next. And then once I've done this, I can work out what else needs to go up there. I've hit the boxes. So this is basically a cupboard of boxes, and then obviously we've got Mindful Chef up here. I'm gonna tackle that in a minute. So this shelf was a box of like veg and stuff that obviously stays out the fridge. Then this is all like random pulses, lentils, etc. that are leftovers. So anything that doesn't fit in the cupboard up there, like we've got the red lentils, etc. here, a bag of quinoa, all that kind of thing that's just like excess things. They stay in here, and then I fill up the jars up there to use. And then this one is basically like stock cubes, stuffing, gravy, etc., which we're going to sort out in a minute. So I'm kind of just going to go bit by bit and go through this whole thing. I've done this cupboard, and what I've done is kept out all of the boxes of things that I know need to go up in there in some kind of organisation way. So like I've kept out some red lentils and stuff so I can try and fill up what's up there, and then hopefully I can free up some of these little bags and just fill up the jars instead, so it's a little bit more organised. But this is kind of what I've gone with. So down here we've got the root veg still, that's kind of living there, and at the back I've actually put my Mindful Chef bags. So I tend to get 5 Mindful Chef a week, which sees me through 5 meals, and then obviously I make 2 dinners myself every week, and also lunches and breakfast and that kind of thing. So that's been really handy, and actually we've really loved having that. And obviously I can just pull this out to get to them really easily, but it means they're not taking over too much space. And then down here we've got all the spare dry goods, so like the couscous, lasagna sheets, spaghetti, etc., which all lives in there. And then I've got excess overflow behind that if I need it. Up here I've got all the tins, and I've tried to kind of organise by what they are. So I've got my sauces here, and then there's actually a a soup at the back, and I think a chopped tomatoes. Next to that we've got all of my soups, again with the coconut milk, which I'm actually going to switch out. So I'm going to put the soups all in one row, and the coconut milk can go with the curry sauces. And then over here is just tuna chunks and chickpeas, so it's kind of my more like meaty bits, I guess. I don't really know, but that's kind of how I thought it was best to organise, because then when I open it I can be like, oh okay, like today I really want a soup for lunch, so I can go straight to the soups and straight to like the chickpeas or whatever, and I can see it. This is kind of what's going to work for now. Apologies because you can probably hear the dishwasher directly behind the camera, but we're just going to deal with it for now because that's just what I'm going to have to put up with while I film this video. But we're going to move around to the next cupboard now, which is next to this one, which I know is equally as traumatic as the, well, these are my only 2 food cupboards, and they're the biggest ones, which is why they're these ones, and they're just a bit, I don't really look after them, shall we say. As you can probably see, this is like the cereal, snack, water, bit of everything cupboard. So Fiji Water actually sent me a load of water a few months ago that I didn't really ask for. It kind of just all turned up, and normally I'm really against bottled water, but as I've got it, I think I might as well just drink it. What I'm going to do is a couple of the unopened ones I'm actually going to donate to a food bank. Let's get tackling. This is going to be quite a cupboard to sort because I don't really know where to start. Okay, now we're going to tackle this side. So this is my like bread bit, and then that is snacks, but I think there must be a better way to organise this, so I'm going to see kind of how I can best do it and hope that there's some kind of other solution. I'm also thinking I might move these waters back because they'll fit on top of the basket, which is actually full of like miniature wines and stuff, where I got sent loads over Christmas. So I got sent wine calendars and like gin calendars, so that's kind of like excess bits, which obviously I'm not really using at the moment, and I don't tend to drink that much, so I'm keeping them all in there, kind of out of the way for now. And then I've just put my spreads in front with my juice, and then obviously cereals and stuff are up here. And then back there is like my bulk bought bit, so I buy my naked bars on Amazon. I'll leave a link down below because I buy packs of 48 bars and it costs £27, so it works out a lot cheaper than buying them individually. And then I'm going to try and tackle this a little bit and see what I can do with it, because there is kind of random bits and pieces here, and I think, if I'm honest, this probably needs, nope, that's out of date. I was going to say it needs a thing, but it's now out of date, so that can go in the bin. And I'm actually saving myself a few of the little thingy-majiggies from IKEA as well because I'm doing this, so that's good. I'm thinking I might put this box, I might give it a quick wipe over, and then I might put the bread box, which now currently just has 2 rolls in it and nothing else. I might put that down here, and then I can keep the snacks up here, but split them into 2 different boxes and use these little white ones, and then just put all of my bars and stuff, because I basically get rid of all the packaging and put all of my little snacks like this in on their own. So I might put snacks that are like bars and stuff in one, and then all my nuts and like that kind of stuff in the other one, so they're a bit better organised up here. That sounds like a better plan. Okay, let's do that. We're doing well, we're making progress, and I'm actually really impressed with how much I've managed to get done so far. And it's only taken me about an hour to go through all the cupboards, which I think is really good going, and I've somehow still got 5 of the jars left, which is really, really good because I can now put them up in the cupboard with all the not condiments, like dried goods. So it's like my couscous and all that kind of stuff. And I actually, funnily enough, keep porridge in this because I like the aesthetic. I just like the aesthetic. I like that my porridge is kind of in the corner and it's in a really nice big jar and it just looks cool. That did actually used to be the pasta one, so I'm thinking it might have to swap out. But my pasta's multicoloured and it just doesn't have the same vibe. Like, tricolour pasta just doesn't look as good on the side as my porridge. My porridge just fits my aesthetic. But I'm gonna quickly make myself a cup of coffee and continue with the cupboard. I'm gonna put my books in this cupboard, I think, like all my cookbooks. God, I'm so small, I need to my height with this video. I'm going to be putting all of my cookbooks up in this cupboard because they're on the windowsill at the moment, and as much as I like having them there, I think they'd be better if they were in a cupboard a bit more out of the way. So I think I'm going to try and put them up there, and then I can kind of rearrange my shelf behind the sink, because it's kind of like an extended sink back, if that makes sense. So it's not like an actual shelf, and I just want it to look a little bit nicer, and then I can maybe put some flowers or something up there. So I'm going to quickly give that a tidy after I've done all the cupboards, but I definitely think I'm going to try and put the cookbooks up there now. Fun fact, all of my cookbooks are actually vegan, because where I can't have dairy and I don't really like red meat, I find other cookbooks to be really tricky for me to make anything from. So I tend to buy the vegan ones, and then if I want to substitute tofu or anything for chicken, then I can. And it also makes a lot more flavourful meals. So if you want to know my recommendations, let me know. I'll put them in my weekly vlog. But this is all my books. We're going to go with the angle because I can't be bothered to take the camera off the tripod. But what I'm actually going to do is, before I put any of these back in, I'm going to go through and relabel some of the jars, because, for example, flour is currently called cookies and then sugar was called almonds. There's loads of different bits and pieces on them all. So I thought before they go back in, I'm going to go through, fill everything up to back to the top. I'm going to make sure everything's in the right containers, mix and match some of them if I need to. Like, I've got rice in a huge container and I don't really use rice that much, so I figured it'd be better putting it in a smaller container and using that for something that I do use a lot of and I need more space for. So gonna attempt, wish me luck, to get this all sorted, and hopefully everything fits in all of the jars. And I have got 5 excess that I'm using, so fingers crossed we can make this work. But I'm going to leave you on a time lapse and do it over there. My system at the moment is basically, as soon as I have properly labelled and filled up the jar, I'm just putting them over here under the tripod, and it means that when the counter is free, I know that everything is done, so I don't have to worry as much. So I'm keeping going and I'm powering through. I've actually freed up this jar now, which I'm going to be putting my pasta into, and then I've also got like macaroni and stuff in some of them as well, which I don't have any top up for. But basically I'm going to try and top up as much as I can of all of them, and then anything left over that I maybe need to add to a jar, I've got the spare jars.